Hare Krishna, this is Ram Jivan Das from ISKCON. Now, today the topic of discussion will be what happens to us after death. Now, first let us understand who we are and what death is. First and foremost, death is a process in which we change our body. We ourselves consist of one is the gross body, second is the soul. The soul never dies. The Lord says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the soul never dies. What dies or what is left behind is this gross body. Becomes old and we die. Now, this gross body is changed at the time of death. The experience of death mentioned in the various Puranas is very, very horrifying. The pain experienced at the time of death is equal to the pain of biting of 10,000 scorpions. All the nerves break and whole body is choked up with pus and mucus. This painful experience is really heart-breaking. That's why we all are afraid of death. Now coming to the point of do we die and what happens after death? The story doesn't end. It's just the beginning of a new life. After death, our soul gets a new body. Now this body depends on our karmas. Here, if our karmas are very bad, then we have to go to hell with a hellish body and suffer over there. If we have done good karmas, we have to go to heaven and enjoy in the heavenly planets. For this also a heavenly body is required. Sometimes we get birth back again in this same Mrityuloka, wherein which yoni we get birth depends on our karmas. As per the karmas, we get a human life or we get a life of an animal or might be a bird or a fish. As regards this, the cycle goes on continuing. Life after life, birth after birth, we die and we have taken birth. In fact, for millions of life, we have been taking birth again and again. But it is only the human form of life wherein we get a chance to be freed from the cycle of birth and death. How is it possible? Yes, only in the human life we have the intelligence to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul. And the requirement of our body and the soul is totally different. We try to do a lot of things to give ourselves, our life, a better thinking. But the fact is, our soul's requirement is totally spiritual. We try to provide our body with many, many material pleasures. But the soul is not hungry for those material pleasures. We are hungry for, our body is hungry for all material pleasures. But the soul only wants spiritual pleasure. Spiritual development will only relieve our body, our soul from this body. Hence, we have to have a long-term planning with respect to using this human life rather than wasting it in some unwanted activities. So, birth does take place. If you see Dr. Pachirisa's website, it mentions a lot of about death experience or near to death experience where people who have literally lost their life have seen themselves outside the body and have passed on their experiences to us. This clearly shows that we have a life after death. It's clearly mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaranam bhavam, trajayatanta kalevaram, tam evati kaunteya, sada tad bhavitaha. At the time of death, whatever conscious we have, that type of body we definitely get. So we should get smarter and try to avoid getting back into the cycle of birth and death, and try to elevate ourselves spiritually and get to back to Goloka, Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.